Hey, everybody. I am Katrina from NCAP We Trust, and I am back with another interview with another absolutely fabulous guest. And today I have with me Ultra Violette. How are you today?
Hi, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on. And so, like I said previously before we started, that I've been watching you for some time on HOG as far as on that scene, and he was there when you won the title and everything. And so, when you decided to, I guess, train at HOG, what was like the deciding factor for you to decide to go there to jumpstart your wrestling career?
I actually didn't want to train there. So in high school I saved up all my lunch money and I literally would starve myself. I wouldn't eat lunch and I saved all my money. And I my plan was to run away and go to Georgia. And there was a school in Georgia, I think it's WWA 4, and they had like dorming. It was like college. Like when you googled wrestling school, that's what would come up. And I was like, okay, because like no one in my family would support me wanting to be a wrestler. So I was like, I'm gonna have to do this by myself. I'm running away with my lunch money. And then we graduated into college. It's like the first semester, and I have a couple of guy friends that like I watch wrestling with, and they were like, oh, we're going to join a wrestling school. And they're like, you should do it. You should join with us. And I was just like, me, like, I was like a closet wrestling fan. Like, I just had like my 3 little friends, but like, I was like embarrassed. Like, I was raised very conservative, like, Catholic school, like, and then you see like these divas and their bodies and like getting slammed. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, I had to hide it. Like I couldn't like that. I wasn't allowed to like that. Like I wasn't even allowed to watch stuff that wasn't like on the Disney Channel or like PBS Kids. Like it was frowned upon or too violent. So like I had to hide it. So they're like, "Oh, we're joining the wrestling school. You should come." And I was like, "Oh, I can't. Like I don't have it in me to like be a wrestler. Like I'm just me." Like I was like 100, maybe 95, 100 pounds. And they're like, "Oh, you can do it." Blah blah blah. So like they like make me feel confident enough because I didn't tell them I planned to go to Georgia. I was just gonna run away by myself and do that. But they're like, join with us. And then the plan was to go, because we're in New York, to go to Mikey Whipwreck School, NYWC in Long Island. And then the week before we were gonna join, my friend's car broke down, and to get to Long Island, it's pretty like expensive with the train back
Yeah.
and forth. So they're like, "Oh, we're gonna join House of Glory," and I was just like, "What do you mean? Like, what is House of Glory?" And NYWC had a few girls there, and like House of Glory didn't have any women, and like I was very shy, very scared. So I was really nervous. So I was like, no, like I can't join there. And they're like, oh, like, but we'll be in good hands. There's Amazing Red. And I was just like, I don't know who that is. Like I only knew like WWE wrestlers. So I was
Yeah.
just like, no, like that's like I wanted to be only like a WWE superstar. So I was like, no, like we're not going there. And they're like, well, that's your choice. Like you go with us or don't go, because that's where we're going. And I fought it so much. And then they're like, we're going. So then last minute I was like, all right, I'll go with you guys. And like the rest is history. I like stayed. Yeah, but I fought tooth and nail to go to House of Glory.
Seems like it has worked out for you. It worked out for the better. But what was you said you was a closet fan. I feel like with my wrestling friends, like it was a bit more less acceptable, I guess, when I was in school as well. It's like, oh, you like wrestling? Then I guess now where it's like a lot more people like wrestling. But
Oh yeah.
you know, it's also a group of us that it wasn't like too in the closet. But so how was like, that knowing that you really didn't watch it out in the open like that, also for it being like embarrassed, but also because of your conservative background, what was like the deciding factor though, where you was like, I really want to wrestle, like this is my dream?
I think just like being such like a fan, like all my friends were excited about like, oh, I'm gonna be a dentist. Oh, I'm gonna be a lawyer. Oh, I'm gonna be a teacher. And like I went to college and everyone was so excited and they make their lesson plans and like they do their homework. And I was there just thinking about like wrestling. And like I was like, I want to travel the world. I just want to be that like that presence, like that like greater than life, like oh, like it just captivated me. It was like all I could think about. And I was at the point where I was like, I'm gonna regret it if I never go for it. Like what if I go for it? What if I don't go for it? Like I'll never know. I'm always gonna be like, I should have done it. So I was just like, I have to do it. Like I can't explain it. And there's so many things in life that I'm like hesitant about, but that was like one of the things that I was just like, I'm doing it. Like, I think I just loved it so much that there was like no other option for me. And I was just like, if they disown me, they'll disown me.
How was your experience training in HOG? Because I just, as a fan, going and noticing when I started doing indie shows, and that was the closest to me. And I was like, oh, this is walking distance. I can walk to here to watch shows.
Yeah.
There are not too many women I've seen kind of, cross through those doors. And I mean, we've gotten obviously more women's matches in HOG, which I absolutely love. I believe they had that all women's event, which I was there and
yeah.
excited about too, because I'm like, yes, you get to see some women kind of be badass and do what they do. But how was that experience for you as far as being one of the few women, if not the only one at the time, and like just training and like, getting yourself into this is now a professional thing for me?
Well, I don't know what I expected going in, but it was so hard for me to like learn anything. Like first you do your fundamentals, your rolls and your bumps. So like, how to take a good fall and you're safe and like you can protect yourself. And like, I could not roll for my life. Like I would be there for like an hour and I would just roll the wrong way or fall the wrong way. And I would have to go on my free time and go to the park. I would go like to Astoria Park and I would just go in the grass and do my rolls. And I was like, I'm going to get this. And then like bumping, like you take the bump and I'd have to like go on the, like bend down all the way. And it was just so unnatural to teach your body how to fall because you're not supposed to fall. And I would do it so many times. Brian Excel was my first trainer. He would do beginner class and like he must have told me again, like, oh my God, like over 100 times. It was just again. It was just back bump. And I would have whiplash so bad. It would feel like almost like a car accident. Like to get out of bed, my neck no longer could like lift my head up. I would have to like pull my hair and like yank my head up. Like it was so like intense. And I would say they took it easy on me. Like Brian was always like, just because you're a girl, like doesn't mean I'm gonna take it easy on you. Like he made sure like he whipped me into shape. So it was good, but they take care of you in like a brotherly love way, but like they don't expect anything less of you because you're a girl.
Okay, yeah, that sounds. I took one wrestling bump and I was like, absolutely not. I just wanted to see what it feels like, and I was like, yeah, that's not my thing. I'm gonna stick to behind the scenes stuff.
Definitely psychos.
Yeah, I don't know how wrestlers in general. I'm like, how do you guys do this regularly? I did one just to see, and I was like, nope, we're good. I'm gonna stick to interviews, ring announcing, and nothing where I have to actually, because it's a lot. So that sounds like a journey. But again, you're a champion now, and so how was that experience? Like when you like won the championship, I was there for that. I was really excited and I've seen you for years at HOG. But like, how was that experience for you as far as winning the title and kind of like representing for the women in HOG?
I think this is my second House of Glory reign, and I think the first one was more it wasn't like everything I wanted it to be. So this time I really got to like really wrestle and like face like such crazy, wonderful, strong women. So this run has been like way more important than like the first one. And I just hope to keep keeping that momentum going forward.
Yes, I saw your match with Viva, which is really hard because I was like, I like you both. So I was like, oh, can you cheer for you like both of them? And then I also showed you a match with Masha, which was really good. So who were some of your favorite opponents you got to wrestle before you had the championship, but also while you've gotten it?
So this was only like at House of Glory. Okay, let's think. There's so many. There's been so many. There's been Evilise. She's great. Oh my gosh, all the concussions are catching up. Masha, obviously, we're good friends. Viva, Max, the Impaler was crazy. I know there's Natalia Markova. I would say, I don't know. I don't think I have any favorites. I've loved all of them.
Okay. And is there any dream opponents for you? Like somebody you would love to step in the ring with, but you haven't had a chance to do so yet?
I don't know if she's technically retired or not, but this is going to be like a random, like maybe you wouldn't expect it. Like I think the last podcast I did, I said it would be Sumi Sakai, and then it happened. But I really would love to wrestle Sour Stock. She yes, and like when I went to House of Glory to train, like Red would show us like her footage from like Stardom and like CMLL, and he'd be like, this is like what I expect from you guys, like in a world of them you have to be this is what I want you to be. So like, and then I've met her now, and like she's good friends with all my friends, so like just to wrestle her, I would love to.
I think that would be a
That's like a
fantastic match.
dream list.
That would be a fantastic match. Just put that in the universe. Put that out there.
Yes, manifest.
So, what is some advice that was given to you that you kind of still hold dear to you? That's something you feel that's really important.
I can think of advice that I've ignored that later on like has come like full circle, and I'm like, oh, that's what they meant. And I think the most important one was like, don't waste time. Don't think that you have time, because you'll waste it. And like there's so many times where I'm like, oh, I'm 22, oh, I'm blah blah blah, like, oh, I can just wait, oh, this can wait, I'll do it later, and like you procrastinate or something happens. Life is always happening. Something happens, like we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Tomorrow's not promised. And then like maybe you'll get injured, or maybe something happens, and like you never know. Like don't waste time. I would say that one's really important.
Okay, I like that advice. That's good. That's definitely good advice to have. And
Thank you.
so, I'm a firm believer in sometimes we need to recharge in the age of social media, in the age of everybody. I feel like sometimes boundaries get lost in social media just because people have a lot of access to you, and so or more access than they would have had like
Yeah, in the
10
fan
years ago
letter
when it
mails.
wasn't, like you get a house phone call and it's like, oh, I don't want to talk right now. You don't have to answer. It's like social media is there. And so it can be very toxic sometimes. And so what are some things you do when you kind of just need to recharge the battery, decompress, and just take some time for you?
I think you kind of just said it. And like it's so bad though, but I randomly just I unplug, and like you'll notice like I'll like be consistent with my posting, and then all of a sudden I'll mess up my algorithm and just go MIA, and that's like normally me recharging and like just like focusing on like, and I'll like post, like it's so bad because like I just told you, don't waste time, and social media is a big part of our job and it helps so much. So like you have to balance that out, but I would say definitely like unplugging and just spending time with like my loved ones, my family, and like being present in the moment with like people that support me and keep me balanced.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, it is hard, like trying to keep yourself with social media, having to use social media. I feel like now most people have to use it,
Oh
just because
yeah,
it's like,
just you can scroll through it one time and just be like, "Oh my gosh," like you're just drained from the scroll and you're like, "What is going on?"
yeah, that's
Toxic.
that's definitely me on Twitter. Like, okay, we're good today. We'll come back tomorrow. And just it's a lot of sometimes very negative. And unfortunately, like I love wrestling fans, but sometimes wrestling fans can be so negative or so
That's why I
toxic.
don't have a Twitter.
That, like,
Everyone yells at me for not having Twitter.
no, I think Twitter's probably the worst of the internet wrestling community. I feel
I
like
think
it's
so
the
too.
worst. Like Facebook and Instagram is bad, but Twitter is just like everything. And it's just like, ew. Like if you was introduced to the fandom, Twitter is not the place to start because you would probably be like, ew, this is too
Yeah.
much. So I know you did AEW Dark. And so how was that experience for you as far as working with Tony Khan, but just working out with that setup, which I know is a little bit different than like indie promotions?
It was just very professional. Like everyone there, like there's there's times, there's like cameras, like everything is just run very professionally, as opposed to like an indie where like you get to really just do whatever you want, like, you know what I mean? But it was I think I was like a little like nervous going in, but I would say it was like such a fun, and like as it was professional, everyone was so friendly and welcoming, and like it was a really positive environment to be in.
That's good. Yeah, I've been hearing good stories about as far as people's experiences, especially now with AEW Dark kind of closing a little bit because they're doing a new revamp, I guess, of their brand. But yeah,
Yeah.
I got to see that match as well, and I was like, yay! It's always nice to see people I've watched in other promotions. I'm like, yes, it's good to kind of see them on a TV, like some kind of like that
Yeah,
hopefully
yeah,
leads to
getting
them.
out there.
Yeah, that's always cool to see. And so when I guess getting your whole wrestling gimmick and as far as even your name, as how did you go about like deciding what style will you fit under? Because there's like the high flyer, there's the technical wrestler, there's the lucha wrestling, there's the kind of like hard hitting wrestlers, like more hitting hard hits. And so how
Mm.
did you decide how you would do your wrestling style and even on your ring name?
Well, Red trains us to know all the styles, and like it sucks sometimes because like there's certain things like I don't want to do, and like 'cause we would joke with like some of the girls and be like, "Oh, this one's the bathroom break. Like I'm gonna be gone. Like we're taking spine busters right now. I don't want to take the spine buster. I'm just gonna go to the bathroom for like 10 minutes." But like there's so many times where like that or like you take these moves or you do the moves and like it like pays off to know all the styles because then you wrestle someone and you're prepared, uh but I think when I was first starting I was more like I wouldn't say I was, but like everyone was leaning to guide me into being a high flyer kind of style, but I didn't like it. And when I watched wrestling, I always love like or like even UFC, I love like submissions, and that's it was. I think my first finish was the rear naked choke, and then I did like a tilt a whirl into a rear naked choke. But then like I kept growing and I guess growing up, and like that style really doesn't suit me, and I'm kind of I'm in this weird middle where I'm like I'm not tiny and like other girls like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like I'm not big either. So I just think the technical style and I just love like if you Google like technical, it's just like you're very like detailed or particular. Like and I think that's like my kind of style. Like we can do like moves every move like of mine like is attacking your neck, every move is like to the same body part every but it's not just that, it's like the way you get into it, it's just very technical. Like I always try to make my stuff a little more different than like someone else. So if I do an air raid crash, I would like to try to get into it different than another person, and I think that's just what makes like I think that's what attracts me to that style. It's just so particular and yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I have definitely noticed you're definitely more technical. I feel like I saw that a lot, especially with the Reba Band match where you guys were back and forth, and I was like, okay, I like your
Yeah,
stuff.
I told her, I was like, we could probably be best friends. We're very similar.
Yes, I definitely peeped that during the matchup. And like it was kind of cool to see it. I'm like, okay, I'm seeing it. Like I was extra like loud, just because I always get to see women's wrestling. It's always good to see that. So we're gonna do a quick speed round of
Okay.
questions, and I'm gonna say something, and then you just kind of tell me the first thing that pops in your head.
Okay.
Okay, last show you binge watched.
You.
Ah, I love that show.
You got your Joe hat.
My hair is not acting correct today, and I'm like, you know what? We're gonna just put a hat on today and just let it
It's
do
very
what it needs
cute.
to. Last song you had on repeat.
Blackpink. I've had their whole album on repeat. I love them.
They're solid. Definitely a solid group. Definitely.
All the songs though, like all of them, like Type of Girl, How You Like That, like all of them. Do 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 do.
Favorite snack you have to have no matter what.
Oh man. My favorite, like if I'm off a diet, my favorite food, which is really weird and random, but I love cheese. Like any kind of cheese, like I would just stuff my face with cheese. But on a diet, maybe like a protein bar.
You mentioned cheese. My best friend is a
I
big cheese
love
person, and
cheese.
like
Like I've
we've
been
been to
gifted blocks of cheese on my birthday before.
I've done the same. I definitely did this for her because I'm like, it'd be some random rare cheese that she had. I'm like, I thought of you. Here you go. And it was one time we went to this place, and like the lady was like, "What kind of cheese you like?" And I was like American or cheddar. And it was like I said the worst thing. She's like, "What do you mean?" And
It's
I'm
like the
just like,
fake cheese.
yeah. I was just like, if I'm making a sandwich, I'll probably put some cheddar. I'm like, to me, it's like I just eat it if I need to eat it with something like some mac and cheese. But
I don't discriminate against any
they
cheese.
were so offended. She was like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, "Oh, my bad. I didn't mean to offend you cheese lovers." And so she's the same way. So it's not weird at all because she's exactly the same way.
Okay,
It's like
cool.
hours at cheese booths. Insane. What if you could have any superpower? What would it be and why?
Ooh, I feel like that's such a like curse. Like my first one is time, like not time travel. What is it? Just when you just teleporting. That would save us so much like mileage and gas money, and that would just be amazing to just do that. So I guess maybe that one. I feel like all the other ones would trouble me. Like I would love to read your mind, but do I really want to know what's on your mind? Like that would probably drive me crazy.
That's true. Then you time travel, you might mess something up. It might make it worse.
Yeah.
Definitely teleportation definitely could be a saving type technique if you need to
Yeah.
get somewhere quickly.
Yeah.
Favorite movie of all time?
Favorite movie? I really like 80s movies. I there's so many of them, but I really loved Demolition Man with Rocky, Sylvester Stallone. I love all the Predators. I have a Predator tattoo. It's on this arm. I don't know if you can see it. It's on this side.
Oh, nice.
I love Predator. I would say maybe Predator beats Demolition Man.
Okay, all right. If you were stuck on an island and can only bring three things, what would those three things be and why?
Oh man. Does the island have food?
Yes.
Okay, three things. Maybe just three of my best friends. And
Aw,
like, what else do you need?
so sweet.
Yeah.
That's a sweet answer.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What else do I need? I'm just stuck there. I don't think I need money or anything. I just stay there.
Okay, I like
Live
that.
it
That's a
up.
really sweet answer. That's a really, really sweet answer. And so, my last question for you is: what do you see yourself or for your career in like the next 5 years? What do you want for yourself in the next 5 years?
Oof, I definitely want to be more international. I just want the way that Red showed us Sourstalk, and he'd be like, "I want you to be like this." Like, I just want to. I don't care where it is or with like what company or like where I am in the world. I just want that like level of respect and like just owning it. Like when you know it inside out. Like you just and I think I'm not like trying to be like I guess arrogant or anything. I think I'm pretty close to like figuring myself out fully. I just think I need like that level of like more consistency where it's just
Yeah.
like it's all you do. It's not like, oh, your shoot job and like wrestling on the side. No, like it's like all you do. Like you live and breathe it, and then like it just becomes like it's you.
Yeah.
So I just wherever it is or like whenever I just want to captivate like that inside outness,
Yeah.
respectable knowledge, like flow. We're close. We're gonna get there.
Yes, putting it out there again in the universe, manifest
Yeah.
that. But I think you're a fantastic wrestler, and so I feel like that you're not too far off from that because you're
Thank
you're
you.
you're great. And I like that you're kind of small because I'm a small person too, and so it's always like when I see smaller women doing like awesome things, I'm like, yes,
Oh,
see,
yay.
it's possible. It's possible to do cool things.
Yeah.
But tell the audience what you got coming up, going on, and where they can find you on social media.
What I got coming on this month, I have at House of Glory. I have the championship match versus Miyu Yamashita. And the next day, I have a wrestling match at CCW, which is in New Jersey. I don't know what else I have in May, but you can reach me and find out on Instagram at the Ultra Violette. I also have a TikTok, but it's a little bare right now, and it's also the Ultra Violet. And Twitter's a no-go so far.
I mean, with good reason, but
Scared.
but everybody, I will have the links to the social media on the description. Please, if you can see Ultraviolet at a show, definitely go and support. Like I said, absolutely fantastic wrestler. And thank you again so much for coming on. This was super fun. And I like to kind of like it was cool learning a little bit more of your backstory as far as what got you into HOG, which is like my first indie promotion I got to watch
Oh
when I indie
wow.
wrestling was a thing. And I was like, oh, this is a thing. We can watch it, like not have to be at WWE. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, so my friend took me to House of Glory for the first time, and I was like, oh, this is so cool. It's so close to where I live that I can just go
Oh,
like all
that's
the
so
time.
cool.
And so it was kind of nice to hear that backstory for you as far as what brought you there.
Yeah, yeah. I had the same experience. Like I only watched like WWE, and then my little group of friends took me to an ROH show. And at the ROH show is where someone from House of Glory was handing out flyers to join the House of Glory Wrestling School. There was no shows back then. It was just a school, and that's where my friends learned about House of Glory when their car broke down. So it's just
Oh,
funny how the world
nice.
works.
See, the world works the way it works. But yes, that's like, my friend was like, just come. And I'm like, okay. And that's how I got introduced to House of Glory, which was my first indie promotion. And then I started doing all these other ones. But definitely, thank you again for coming on. I truly appreciate you've taken the time out your day. And
Thank
until
you.
next time, guys, we will catch you later. Bye.
Bye.